Introduction. Have you ever been betrayed, cheated, or hurt by someone you trusted? It's a painful experience, one that can leave you questioning human nature, justice, and even your own judgment. But what if I told you that every time someone wrongs you, there are only two possible reasons behind it? And understanding these reasons can set you free from anger and resentment. Today, we'll explore this powerful Stoic perspective, rooted in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. By the end of this video, you'll have a new lens to view pain, betrayal, and human behavior, one that empowers you to remain unshaken no matter what others do. Part 1. The two Stoic reasons people hurt you. The Stoics believed that when someone harms you, whether through lies, betrayal, or cruelty, it ultimately boils down to one of two reasons: ignorance or weakness. Let's break this down. First, ignorance. Many people act badly simply because they don't know any better. They lack wisdom, self-awareness, or the ability to see the bigger picture. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, when someone wrongs you, ask yourself, what did they believe was the right thing? Often, they're operating from flawed logic, fear, or a distorted view of the world. The second reason is weakness. Even if someone knows the right thing to do, their emotions, desires, or insecurities overpower their judgment. They may cheat because they're enslaved by greed, lash out because they can't control their anger, or betray because they're too weak to face the truth. The key insight here is this: no one does evil willingly. As Socrates taught, all wrongdoing stems from ignorance, and as Stoics, our job isn't to hate or seek revenge, but to pity them, because they're either blind to truth or too weak to follow it. Part 2. Why this understanding liberates you. Now, why does this matter? Because when you realize that people hurt you out of ignorance or weakness, you stop taking it personally. Their actions reflect their inner state, not your worth. Imagine a dog barking at you. You don't get angry at the dog because you understand it's just acting on instinct. Similarly, when a person lies or betrays you, it's a reflection of their limitations, not yours. This shifts your response from rage to compassion, or at least indifference. Epictetus said, "Any person who can anger you becomes your master." But when you see their behavior as a form of blindness or frailty, you reclaim your power. You're no longer a victim of their actions. You're an observer of human nature. This doesn't mean you tolerate abuse. Stoicism isn't passivity. It means you respond with clarity, not chaos. You set boundaries. You walk away if needed, but you don't let their dysfunction become your suffering. Part 3. How to apply this wisdom in daily life. So how do we put this into practice? First, when wronged, pause and ask, was this due to ignorance or weakness? If they didn't know better, educate them if possible, or accept that they're misguided. If they acted out of weakness, recognize that their lack of self-mastery is their burden, not yours. Second, focus on your own virtue. The Stoics taught that the only true harm is moral corruption, so ensure you don't become spiteful or vengeful in response. Third, practice forgiveness, not for their sake, but for your peace. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Finally, remember, the universe is indifferent. People's actions are like weather, unpredictable, sometimes harsh, but never personal. Your power lies in your response. Part 4. Turning pain into strength. We often think pain is something we just have to survive. But the Stoics believed pain, betrayal, and disappointment can be transformed into sources of strength, if we approach them the right way. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, was no stranger to hardship. He faced betrayals in court, military defeats, family losses, and political conspiracies. Yet, in his private writings, the Meditations, he consistently reminded himself, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In simpler words, the obstacle is the path. Every time life blocks you, that block isn't stopping you. It's redirecting you, teaching you, forcing you to grow. Let's take an example. Imagine someone you love cheats on you. The immediate reaction is devastation. How could they do this to me? Was I not enough? What does this say about me? But a Stoic approach reframes these questions. It shifts the focus from what happened to what you can become because of it. Ask yourself, how can I build resilience from this? What does this pain reveal about my own attachments and expectations? How can I use this experience to deepen my understanding of human nature? When Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal by close friends, he didn't spiral into self-pity or revenge. Instead, he treated it as another test of his character, another chance to practice patience, forgiveness, and wisdom. This is a radical mindset shift. It says, you are not here just to avoid pain, you are here to master yourself through pain. When someone wrongs you, they hand you a gift, the opportunity to sharpen your discipline, your clarity, your strength. This doesn't mean you should seek out betrayal or hurt. But when it comes, and it will, because life guarantees it, you face it as a warrior faces battle, not with panic, but with purpose. The hurt becomes your sharpening stone. The betrayal becomes your training ground. In modern life, we can apply this anytime we feel mistreated, at work, in friendships, in family dynamics. Instead of asking, why me? We ask, how can I grow from this? That question alone turns you from a passive victim into an active philosopher, from someone life happens to into someone who shapes meaning out of every experience. Part 5. Seeing the Shared Human Struggle. Now let's go even deeper. Why is it important to understand why people hurt us? Because, at the most profound level, it connects us to our shared human struggle. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, wrote, "When we forgive, we free not only the other person, we free ourselves." Think about that. We often hold on to resentment because we think it gives us control, or because we believe the other person doesn't deserve forgiveness. But all the while, it's us carrying the weight. The Stoics invite us to look at humanity with open eyes. When someone betrays you, lies to you, or harms you, they are not acting from some mysterious evil. They are acting from the same confusion, fear, and weakness that you have felt yourself. Picture someone who lashes out at you in anger. A Stoic would pause and ask, what's driving them? Are they afraid? Are they insecure? Are they stuck in patterns they don't know how to break? This isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about recognizing that everyone, including you, is walking through life carrying invisible burdens. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that people would be selfish, rude, short-sighted, but that it was their nature, and that getting angry at human nature is as pointless as getting angry at the wind or the rain. When you adopt this perspective, your emotional landscape changes. You begin to see betrayal and hurt not as rare, shocking injustices, but as part of the human condition. You begin to replace rage with realism and resentment with compassion. This doesn't mean you let toxic people stay in your life. Stoicism is not passivity or blind forgiveness. It's about maintaining clarity. You see the truth of human flaws. You protect your boundaries. But you refuse to poison yourself with bitterness. You can walk away, but you walk away with peace, not with hate. Let me give you a modern example. Imagine a business partner who steals money from you. You can, and should, take legal action, protect yourself, and set hard boundaries. But beyond that, you can let go of the internal anger. You can say, they are driven by greed, fear, or desperation, none of which defines me. You focus on rebuilding your life, not stewing over their betrayal. This attitude frees you. It keeps your emotional energy focused on growth, not destruction. It allows you to see the person not as a permanent enemy, but as a flawed fellow traveler on the difficult road of life. Part 6. Building Boundaries Without Bitterness. It's a common misunderstanding that Stoicism means tolerating everything, letting people walk over you, accepting mistreatment, staying in bad relationships because you're supposed to rise above it. But that's not what the Stoics taught. Seneca writes, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach." In other words, Stoicism teaches boundaries, but not bitterness. You are not obligated to stay connected to harmful people. You are not called to be endlessly patient with those who continue to lie, cheat, or harm you. You are called to make careful decisions, guided by reason, not by revenge or resentment. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine you have a friend who constantly undermines you. They gossip behind your back, break your trust, or take advantage of your kindness. A Stoic doesn't just grit their teeth and put up with it forever. Here's how a Stoic would approach it. Checkmark. First, observe clearly, without emotional fog, the pattern of behavior. Second, decide rationally whether this relationship helps or harms your character. Third, act firmly and calmly. Set boundaries, have honest conversations, or, if necessary, walk away. The key is that you do it without hatred. You're not cutting them off because you're enraged or because you want to punish them. You're stepping away because you recognize they're not aligned with the kind of life you want to live. Epictetus gives us a beautiful line. Keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Their actions? Their business. Your boundary? Your business. So many people, when hurt, fall into the trap of vengeful boundaries, cutting people off with anger, trash-talking them, or obsessing over how to get back at them. But that keeps you chained to the hurt. Stoic boundaries are clean cuts, deliberate, necessary, peaceful. You walk away not because you hate them, but because you love your own peace and virtue more. Part 7. How to prepare your mind for betrayal before it happens. This part might surprise you. The Stoics didn't just wait for hardship to come and then react. They prepared for it in advance. They trained their minds daily, like athletes, to be ready for pain, loss, betrayal, disappointment. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It means you actively visualize the bad things that might happen, so when they do, you're not shocked or broken by them. Marcus Aurelius began many mornings by reminding himself, "Today, you will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Why would he do that? Wasn't that depressing? No, it was strengthening. By anticipating betrayal or harm, you build a kind of emotional armor. You stop expecting the world to be perfect, or people to always be kind, or life to unfold exactly as you wish. You face the day knowing that difficulties will come, and that you have the inner resources to handle them. Let's break this down practically. Imagine you're entering a new romantic relationship. Instead of fantasizing that this person will never hurt you, The Stoic approach is to quietly remind yourself, they are human. They have flaws. There may come a time when they disappoint me. This doesn't mean you expect betrayal or become cynical. It means you understand reality. Or think about business. You go into a new partnership or job knowing there may be people here who are selfish. There may be setbacks, mistakes, maybe even sabotage. But I will face them calmly, prepared. When betrayal actually arrives, you don't collapse in shock. You say, "Ah, here is the test I knew would come." And then you act, not from panic, but from grounded wisdom. This mindset does something remarkable. It reduces your anxiety. It increases your resilience. And it makes you appreciate good moments even more, because you don't take them for granted. It's like walking through life with an umbrella. You're prepared for rain, but when the sun shines, you're all the more grateful. Part 8. Daily Stoic Practices to Build Inner Resilience. It's one thing to understand Stoic philosophy, but it's another to live it. The Stoics weren't interested in just reading or talking about wisdom. They wanted to practice it daily, like a craft or a discipline. So, how do you build resilience against betrayal, hurt, or injustice in your everyday life? Not just when a crisis hits, but before, during, and after challenges. Here are 5 Stoic practices you can integrate into your daily routine to become stronger, calmer, and more unshakable. 1 Morning Reflection. Marcus Aurelius began each day reminding himself, "Today, you will meet people who are selfish, greedy, envious, rude." This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. You can adopt this practice each morning. Before you step into your day, sit quietly for 2 to 5 minutes. Remind yourself, today, someone may disappoint me. Someone may lie. Someone may cut me off in traffic or criticize me unfairly. Visualize it happening. Picture yourself responding calmly. This prepares your nervous system, so when difficulty arises, you meet it with readiness instead of shock. 2 Evening Journaling. Seneca recommended reviewing your actions each night. Ask yourself, where did I keep my composure today? Where did I lose control? What can I learn for tomorrow? This isn't about punishing yourself. It's about gathering data to improve. For example, maybe you snapped at someone because you were tired. Noted. Tomorrow, you can be more mindful of your energy levels. Maybe you handled a criticism with grace. Celebrate that. Let it reinforce your sense of progress. 3 Negative Visualization. Premeditatio malorum. We talked about this earlier, but you can make it a formal practice. Sit quietly. Imagine losing something you care about. Your job, your home, a friendship. Imagine facing betrayal or disappointment. Notice your emotions rise. Then remind yourself, you have the strength to endure. This doesn't make you cold or heartless. It makes you appreciate what you have now, while strengthening your mind for the reality that loss is always possible. Practicing voluntary discomfort. Epictetus encouraged his students to occasionally choose discomfort, to go without luxuries, sleep on the floor, wear simple clothes, or eat plain food. Why? Because when you practice going without, you remind yourself, I can survive much more than I think. In modern life, this might look like taking a cold shower, skipping a meal occasionally, turning off your phone for a day, saying no to an indulgence. Each small act strengthens your resilience muscle. It teaches you that external comforts don't control you, and prepares you to face bigger losses if they come. 5. Focusing only on what's within your control. At the core of Stoicism is one radical, life-changing idea. The only thing fully within your control is your own mind, your thoughts, your actions, your character. Everything else, other people's opinions, outcomes, events, betrayals, is not under your control. The more you remind yourself of this truth daily, the less you'll be emotionally thrown by life's chaos. Make it a mantra. Is this within my control? If not, I let it go. This practice alone can transform your mental landscape. By weaving these 5 practices into your daily routine, you build not just knowledge, but embodied resilience. You become a person who doesn't just understand Stoicism intellectually, you live it, day by day, moment by moment. Part 9. Guided Reflection. How to let go of resentment. Now, let's go deep into one of the hardest parts of betrayal, letting go of resentment. It's easy to say, don't be angry, or forgive and move on. But when you've been truly hurt, when someone you trusted breaks that trust, the emotional weight can sit inside you for years. Stoicism doesn't demand that you instantly erase your feelings. Instead, it gives you tools to process them, so you don't get stuck. Here's a step-by-step guided reflection to help you begin releasing resentment. Step 1. Name the hurt honestly. Start by sitting quietly and naming exactly what happened. Who hurt you? What did they do? How did it make you feel? Write it down if you can. Be precise, not vague. For example, my friend broke my trust by revealing a secret I shared. My partner cheated on me, which made me feel worthless. Naming the hurt directly allows you to face it fully, not suppress or deny it. Step 2. Ask the Stoic question. Now, apply the Stoic lens. Did they act out of ignorance or weakness? Reflect carefully. Did they truly understand the harm they were causing? Were they driven by fear, insecurity, or loss of control? Were they acting on flawed beliefs, shaped by their own past wounds? This isn't about excusing their behavior. It's about recognizing the roots of it. When you see their actions as products of ignorance or weakness, you begin to shift from personal hurt to philosophical understanding. Step 3. Recognize what's within your control. Ask yourself, can I control their actions or choices? Number. You can control your response, your healing, your future choices, but not what they did in the past. Write down or repeat. What's done is done. I release the illusion that I can change the past. This statement alone can begin to untangle the knots of resentment. Step 4. Release the desire for revenge or punishment. Here's where it gets tough. We often hold on to resentment because, deep down, we want the other person to suffer or understand what they did. But the Stoics remind us, their suffering does not heal you. You heal by letting go of that need. Repeat to yourself, their growth is their path. My peace is my path. It doesn't mean you let them back into your life. It means you free your own mind from carrying their burden. Step 5. Shift your focus to your own virtue. Finally, ask, how can I respond with strength and virtue? The Stoic goal is not to erase pain, but to respond well to it. Can you practice patience? Can you strengthen your character? Can you become more thoughtful in your future relationships? Every betrayal, every hurt, is a moment to sharpen your own moral excellence. Write down one concrete action you can take today to align with your highest values, not as a reaction to them, but as a commitment to yourself. Part 10. Closing Reflections on Stoic Freedom and Joy. We've talked a lot about hurt, betrayal, injustice, and resilience. But here's a truth the Stoics deeply understood. Freedom isn't just about enduring pain. It's about unlocking joy that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Let's pause on that, because if you only focus on toughness, gritting your teeth, pushing through hardship, suppressing your emotions, you can easily miss the heart of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism is not cold, grim survival. It's about learning to find peace and even happiness in a world that's unpredictable, messy, and sometimes cruel. What does real freedom mean? The Stoics taught that the only true freedom comes from mastery over yourself, not mastery over the world, or other people or circumstances, but mastery over your own mind. Epictetus says it beautifully. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Let's break that down. Most people live as slaves, not because someone else controls them, but because their desires and fears control them. They crave approval, and so they're enslaved by other people's opinions. They fear loss, and so they cling desperately to possessions, relationships, or status. They fear discomfort, and so they avoid challenge, growth, or hard truth. When someone betrays or hurts you, it's easy to become a slave to resentment, replaying the offense in your mind, wishing for revenge, letting your own peace dissolve. But the Stoic path says, you can't control what others do. You can only control how you respond. That's where freedom begins. How does this lead to joy? Here's the surprising part. When you no longer depend on external things for your peace, you become free to experience real joy. A joy rooted in your own character and choices. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Not the wealth you own, not the fairness of others, not even the success of your plans. When you've trained your mind to remain steady in the face of hardship, you begin to taste a joy that's calm, resilient, and unshakable. It's not a giddy, superficial happiness. It's a deep contentment that says, no matter what comes, I can handle it with grace. That's the kind of joy no betrayal can take from you." 3 closing reflections to carry with you. Let's end this part with 3 powerful questions, the kind you can reflect on regularly, to keep aligning your life with Stoic freedom and joy. 1. What is truly within my control today? Make a list. Your attitude, your words, your actions, your effort. Focus your energy here, not on changing others, fixing the past, or controlling outcomes. This simple shift is where peace begins. 2. Where am I still a slave to anger or desire? Be honest. Do you crave revenge? Do you secretly wish for someone to get what they deserve? Do you fear losing something so much that it's stealing your peace? Spot these chains and gently start loosening them. Conclusion. Next time someone hurts you, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What does this reveal about them?" That simple shift will change everything. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, "Today I will meet interference, ingratitude, and arrogance, but none of them can touch me." So go forward with this Stoic armor. Let others act from their ignorance or weakness. You'll act from wisdom and strength. And if you found this video valuable, share it with someone who needs this perspective. Until next time, stay unshaken.